Looking back on this past weekend, obviously, I don't think anybody that stood up on this podium and say this is what we were looking for, or something that we're happy with. Did not feel like we played well, coached well. You got to do a much better job, obviously, when in the Big Ten or any conference, and you're playing top 10 teams, top 5 teams. You come out and playing subpar for us or for anybody, not very good things are going to happen. So we got to do a much better job this week in preparation. We got to do a much better job this week in execution on the field as well.
Drew, Chris was just saying, first of all, that obviously it's not all the quarterback's fault. And when he spoke on Saturday after the game to us, he talked about the receivers not being able to get off press coverage. As far as that issue, is it a matter of strength? Is it a matter of technique, or both? I mean, how can that improve to be able to gain some separation?
I think they've gotten, to be honest with you, at the beginning of the year, I did not feel comfortable with our ability to get off press coverage, and that's something that Coach Williams has worked really diligently with those guys. I thought they did a better job than they've had in the past. You look at some of the plays that we had guys open in man, press man coverage. The first completion to, or the second completion to Juwan Harris, the first one on third down, that was into man coverage as well. I think the bigger issue for us in the passing game so far has been we've had too many drops. And then you look at, we had 5 drops in the game. It's really hard to throw incomplete passes and move the ball. Aside from the outside of the run game, if you've got drops, I mean, we've had some accuracy issues that I thought have gotten a lot better. There was a couple throws in there that weren't great, but he threw the ball much better this game than he had in the past. So we've got to clean up that end of the throw and catch as well.
And just a quick follow-up, how do you feel about the protection at this point?
Protection's gotten a lot better. It wasn't our best game, I don't think, up front. I think, honestly, it's probably one of the worst games that we've played up front in a long time. They have continually improved. I've been hard on those guys about pass pro, and we spent a lot of time trying to develop the run game, and the pass game, the protection standpoint's got to keep coming along with it as well.
Two-part question on Michigan. I guess one, just your assessment, what stands out when you watch them on film, and then I guess the second part would be on Jabril Peppers. When you watch him on film, what stands out?
You look at Michigan. They're a very talented football team. A lot of credit to Coach Brown and what he's done for those guys on defense this year. They're a big, good-looking group. They play very aggressive. They want to be up the field. They want to be they're an attacking style defense. They're not going to sit back and let you try and take 2 or 3 yard gains. They're going to try and tackle you in the backfield. And they're going to bring a lot of pressure, so play a lot of man coverage. So from that standpoint, they're a very talented defense. We've got our work cut out for us. You look at number 5, Jabril Peppers. Fantastic player. Can't say enough about him. Obviously, you look at his return ability. That says enough about his speed and his explosiveness. But that kid's all over the field. He's played corner, safety, linebacker. He's an incredible blitz threat for those guys. They do a great job of moving him around and finding matchups, either in the protection, matching him up on a guard or a tackle, blitzing, or finding the right man coverage matchup for him. So he's all over the place. Somebody we're definitely going to be aware of.
Coach, in the first half of the year, you're going to play 3 top 5 teams. How much do you think that helps you guys get ready for the second half of the year, and maybe in what areas?
Yeah, the 3 top 5 teams, man. That's it's been. We've had pretty stiff competition going into this deal, but it's a very, of anything that it's done, it's given us a fair assessment of exactly where we are as a team, exactly what our weaknesses are. And strengths are as a team, both offensively, defensively. I'm sure Coach Neiman would say the same, Coach Ash would say as well, and special teams included. So I think for the second half of the season, we know where we stand going into it. We're going to take one game at a time, but I think that it's given us a very good barometer to know how we match up, what we can and cannot do well. And so going into the second half of the season, where there's not 3 top 5 teams, I think our kids will know exactly what we're going to call and execute, and feel great about that.
Drew, what can your offensive line learn from a game playing against a team like Ohio State, and how did they come out physically? I mean, we saw Tariq hurt his knee, it looked like, but overall, how were they?
The offensive line, aside from Tariq, was fine. The things that you can learn, you look at those guys up front for Ohio State, and this week for the guys from Michigan, they're going to be the same. If not better. If you're going to go out and play in a game like that, especially up front, winning the game in the trenches is going to be critical. And you're going to do that one way or the other. That may not be just slamming the ball through the A-gaps and saying, hey, center and guards, go win these one-on-one battles all game. That may not be what you're asking them to do, but those guys got to win in the manner that we're asking them to do it. So if you're coming out of a game like that, it's like, hey, you're playing some of the best in the country. And like I said about our offense going into the second half of the season in the previous question, you're gonna get exposed on where your weaknesses are, because when you're playing elite level competition, that's what they do, and they force you to really, really evaluate where your game is, where your footwork, where your hand placement is, where your technique is. And I think for our guys, it was a very, very honest glimpse into exactly where they need to develop and continue to improve. So for our guys up front, that's I think the biggest thing they can take away from a game like that. Aside from the fact that if you don't come ready to play against a big time opponent, not good things are going to happen.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Thank you.